Child, like, maybe it's me. As I grow this channel and I think about how I want to grow this channel, I started out with it just being about travel experiences, but I'm learning and noticing that it needs to just be about my life experiences. I'm noticing a pattern in this very positive and elevating stage of my life. I'm chasing my goals in every single sense, whether it's a travel goal, a skincare goal, an educational goal, a career goal, buying a home. I just see a goal, I get tunnel vision, I go after that goal, and that be threatening people. As you elevate, you can be friendly, but it's not meant for you to be everybody's friend. You know, some people might perceive this as you being mean or being stuck up, but really you just being selective, smart, and protecting yourself. There are a lot of people that want access to you that don't deserve access to you. It's a lesson that your life can depend on, that your safety can depend on, that your accomplishments can depend on, because all these things are things that can be compromised when you open the door for the wrong person to have access to you. It could be a relationship, it could be a friendship. You just gotta be careful. So today's story is about a group of women, grown women, in their 30s that I just had no business hanging out with. You live and you learn, okay? Let's get into it. So the first person that this story kind of starts with is, for the sake of the story, I'm gonna name this young lady Mo. Mo is basically a party friend or a turn-up friend. We never had like a deep friendship or really an in-depth conversation. Like, we just lived close to one another. And when we got grown, we ended up just graduating and spending our last year at the same college. So the only times that I met up with Mo was to go out to a party. Mo invite me out or I invite her out. We were both like invite each other to each other's birthday celebrations, things like that. So that was just the basis of me and Mo's friendship, which was cool. So basically I still had my own circle and Mo still had her own circle. And in this circle was Mo's best friend, Larry. Larry is a female, but it just, these names just gonna stick and they just gonna make sense. Anyway, Larry is Mo's best friend. You know, it's so much more I want to say about Larry's appearance without sounding like a mean girl, but it's no way to say it. So I'm just going to leave that part alone. But Larry used to make some very questionable wig decisions. And I'm not talking about like just a little lace lifting or just a little piece of leave out showing. Like, the whole, what was wild about it was the fact that Mo knew how to do hair. Mo had skills. And you would think that somebody, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I'm throwing this detail in there because these wigs be a red flag. That's all I'm gonna say about it. It sounds like I'm being messy and shady, but I need to add this context. Not only was it just a red flag, but this is showing the point in my life where I was just too nice and used to just pretend like certain stuff made sense even when they didn't. Anyway, she was on my Instagram. You know, she would like compliment my outfits, compliment how I decorated my condo. I just bought a new place. You know, she would say stuff like, oh, you got to do a girls night. Let me know when you're doing a movie night or a girls night. And I'm like, okay, girl, when I get all my furniture together, we gonna get there. And I was serious. Now looking back, I've never been inside a Larry place. Now that I think about it, it's just a detail that I take note of now. We didn't even get to all the characters in this story yet, but let's get to the first red flag. Red flag number one. Here we go. The first red flag is that Mo be hanging around some weirdos. Maybe I just don't blend in and I just can't understand them, but Mo just got some weird friends. So basically, Mo decided to celebrate her birthday at this club and get a table with about, I think, 6 or 7 of her other friends, mostly women, but there's one guy friend. More power to you if you find like a trustworthy, sensible male friend, but I just did not see that in this guy that was in Mo's friend group. So let me explain what I mean. So I go in there to celebrate, you know, Mo's birthday or whatever. Immediately this dude is kind of like, we ain't even gonna blame this on like no liquor or nothing. Like, he just doing the most around me. Like, he trying to help me take my jacket off. I'm like dancing to the side, he come over to that side. He trying to, I don't know, just be in my face. But at the same time, I'm looking at the dynamic between him and his homegirls, and he kind of like flirting and dancing all around them. One, he tried to like kiss on the neck. It was just too, I don't know what type of friendship they were supposed to have. He just like this light-skinned, thirsty male individual, like licking his lips and always trying to like, I don't know what he was doing. It was kind of funny. Like, it wasn't like over the top, like, okay, I need to call security or nothing like that. It's just like, why are you doing that? And as he just continues to be like in my face, Mo got another female friend, I don't know her name. She jumps over to like flirt with him every time she sees him kind of like doing the most and flirting with me. And I'm just like, why can't both of y'all just get away from me and allow me to celebrate Mo's birthday? From what it looked like they probably messed around before, and she still got a thing for him and is like following him around the club, and he's kind of like following me around the club. And like I said at the time, I'm just being real like reserved, cool, because this is not my friend group. I really want to be like, what are y'all doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? It was strange, y'all. Like, this went on almost the entire time that I was at Mo's birthday. So towards the end of the night, as I'm minding my business, like sipping my drink, I just catch out the corner of my eye Mo's female friend like staring at me. Just would see her like out the corner of my eye, and I'm like drinking my little drink, minding my business, and Mo's friend's just kind of like, and I'm like, if you stare at me, I'm gonna smile. Like, I'm not even gonna give you the time to like make this an intimidating, awkward thing. Like, I'm just gonna smile at you. Hey girl, like, I don't got nothing else for you but smiles and good vibes. And so finally she's like, you don't like him, right? I'm like, what the huh? She's like, you don't like you know, whatever his dude's name was. And she's like, you too pretty to be dealing with him. And I'm like, who am I dealing with? I don't want, there ain't nothing. Like, let's like pretend for a second that something about this man was attractive. He was just the opposite of everything that I'm attracted to. He was just doing the most. He over friendly in every female face. This light-skinned, thirsty dude licking his lips and just all up in, you know, women's face. And I'm just like, nothing about this is sexy, nothing about this is cute. And I know he's somewhere in his 30s, so that just make it even more of a just hell no. And so as she's like, you don't like him, I'm like, I don't want no parts of this light-skinned whore and whatever foolishness y'all got going on. Like, I just came here to celebrate. I don't want this high yellow whore in my face. Both of y'all can leave me alone. I was just like, oh hell no, like no. And even like after that, I drove by myself, I pulled up by myself. And so I get ready to leave by myself, like as like the whole night and celebration is over. And Mo's guy friend wants to walk me to my car. He was like, no, but I'm just watching you. I'm gonna walk the ladies to the car. You just walk with us and we gonna make sure you get to your car. So I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, I also left out the fact that he a police officer. So it's just like, he do the most with his driving because I guess can't nobody pull him over. So I parallel parked, and I guess he want to make sure that I'm safe and help me make sure that I get out the parallel spot. Baby, I'm from Chicago. I know how to park. I know how to whip and drive my car all around this city. But, you know, Mr. Do the Most, he kind of like turns in his car to block the other side of the traffic. It's just so I can like get out the spot. So from beginning to end, he was just doing the most. But yeah, so like I said, this was just like the first red flag that Mo just be hanging around some weirdos. And y'all probably wondering, where was Mo in this story? Mo was just lit because it was her birthday, so I don't even think she was aware of all of this. And I'm like, okay, cool. It wasn't like a huge, I'm scared to hang around Mo again, I don't feel safe or anything like that. I'm just like, that ain't my circle. I got my own circle. Mo is cool. She's still welcome to my birthday. So it wasn't a big thing. I'm just like, what are y'all doing? Fast forward. It's around Labor Day, so summer is coming to an end. Mo invites me out to a Labor Day party at the beach. And I get introduced to one of Mo's other friends. We're gonna name this friend Curly. So my first introduction to Curly is us all at this beach party. I'm trying to get through this story without bringing up looks. But it is important to point out that this is a beach party. And I have on a bikini. Mo has on a bikini. Curly has on a diving suit. Okay. Mo introduces us, you know, the party is going, just vibing, getting our margaritas and stuff like that. Like I said, out the corner of my eye, I just always know when somebody is staring at me. This time, Curly is staring at me. I don't even think she noticed how long I knew that she was looking at me. So like I said, when people just stare for too long, it's nothing for me to just smile like, hey. And so I guess she finally like finds some words to make it less awkward. And she's like, has anybody told you like you look like Yara Shahidi? Whatever. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I think I might have heard that once or twice. Like, I don't really see it. So it was like a compliment. Yara is beautiful. But just one of the things I noticed, like, upon that very first like introduction, you know, when girls do that, I'm like, it's nothing to just be like, hey, them lashes is cute, where you get them. The lip combo is on point. I love your highlight. You're cute. When y'all do this stare, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's like a murder stare, a lesbian stare. What is it? And we never gonna know what it is until you just open your mouth up and just be friendly. And so I kind of like, you know, just had to like look over and smile to make it less awkward. That was my first introduction to Curly. Now, like I said, that entire day was fun. So we had a good time at the beach party. We get a little lit, and I'm just excited about my new place. And I'm just like, summer is coming to an end, and this is like the last week that I can use my pool. So me just being bubbly and friendly, I'm talking with a little liquor in my system. I'm like, yeah, y'all could come slide, like y'all could hang out in my pool or whatever, you know, before they close it down, stuff like that. They was just like, okay, yeah, like we'll come over this Friday or this Saturday, whatever it was. So later that week, Mo, the one mutual friend that me and Curly met each other through, she's not able to make it to the pool. So Curly ended up just coming, and this is like my second time meeting her. Now, I'm not completely against that, because it's like, I did hang around with you for the full day, but it would be more sensible if Mo was there, but it just wasn't a big deal. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, like Curly, you know, come through. Curly still had the address, and we have like a little pool day or whatever. Let me also throw in the fact that another reason I was down to hanging with Mo's friends is because they're slightly older than me, and I hope to like just hang out with like more mature women and kind of step into like my 30s era, like my late 20s, 30s era. At the time of this story, Curly is 33 years old. So this is my first time meeting Curly. We get a little background information about each other, and Curly didn't have really anything to share other than she was in a situationship for 2 years with this guy, and she was feeling sad because he still wasn't trying to take her seriously. So like the whole time she's just like, you know, I just don't understand why guys don't want to take you out and take you on dates and like have a serious relationship. She's like, I just don't understand what these dudes are on nowadays. And then she tried to like ask a question about my dating life, and to be honest with you, at the time I just didn't have one, and like that was the honest to God truth. I was like, look Curly, I just escaped a very toxic relationship and bossed up and bought a home. That's where I'm at with dating right now. A man is like just not, you know, it's great to have a healthy relationship, but if that's not what's going on, like it's just not relevant right now. So I was explaining to Curly, you know, while we was at the pool, because relationships was the only thing that she wanted to talk about. I'm like, something about me not being in a relationship for this time period, and truly like for this first time in a long time that I've just been like full-blown single. I ain't had no hoes, I ain't had no roster, I ain't had no sneaky link, I ain't had no nothing. It was just Kelsey and her goals. I was able to buy a home. I was able to go to Greece. I got back in the gym. And it had nothing to do with me trying to prove a point to my ex. Like, this is what you missed out on. I was just like truly locked in on all the things that I can go after when I don't have a person in my ear trying to make it seem like I can't do anything without him. So that's where I was at mentally as far as like my dating life, and that's all that I had to share with Miss Curly. From that conversation and time that Curly spent in my house, I was just kind of like, this ain't really my type of chick, so I don't see myself hanging out with her unless Mo was there. And I really wasn't expecting it to be that way today. It was low-key, like, not only was it just like not fun, I'm like, at least like when I'm around Mo, I never had an in-depth conversation with Mo, but one thing I know about Mo is a lit person. Like, Mo know how to find a party and find a good spot in Chicago and bring people together. So if Curly did have anything productive or positive going on in her life, that would have been the time to share it. And all I could remember is her situationship with this man at her grown age of 33. You know, y'all might be like, Kelsey, you're judging. That's very judgmental. It is. Like, I'm not the pussy police. I don't care what you do with your body. It has nothing to do with me. But there's one thing to be dumb about these men in your 20s and, you know, still learning and figuring things out. It is what it is. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. To be on this earth for 3 decades of life and still at that stage where you just kind of like slow, it's kind of diabolical. I just kind of wrote a note in the back of my head. I'm like, Curly not necessarily my friend, but like I'm not like a mean girl. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm just not gonna hang out with you. I'm like, I just don't need to hang out with Curly unless Mo is there, because that's basically her friend. But what I noticed is after that little interaction, for like almost very often, Curly would try to like text me to create a conversation. I don't know, just bring up random things to me. But looking back, they weren't that random. Here's what I mean. Curly mentioned that she wanted to get back dermals. Now, I've had back dermals for years. That was like my go-to piercing. I even have dermals up here. Like, dermals are like my go-to piercing. Like, I even had them like on this side. So I had 4 up here, I had 2 in my back. So Curly texts me, and you know, because I went through the process and procedure before, I'm thinking she's just, you know, looking for tips or whatever. So she, you know, asked me something about back dermals, and I'm like, you know, just telling her like, yeah, go for it, the pain isn't that bad, cool. Then there was another time she texted me and she told me that she's going back to school to get her master's. I'm all about the girlies getting their education, going after their goals. Like, I love to see it. College is not for everybody, but me going after any goal, any educational goal that I've had in my life, it was just such a level up. So hearing that this inspired Curly to go back to school and get her master's, I'm like, go for it. Like, what are you studying? That's lit. I love that for you from the bottom of my heart. Just in so many like different ways, Curly was just like making attempts to like keep a conversation going with me. And then at one point she tried to say that she was close to my place and wanted to come over and hang out. Now mind you, looking back, what I'm noticing is Curly made all these attempts to like start a conversation with me about like the most random stuff. She never was like necessarily inviting me to anything or saying, oh, let's pop out here, let's go here, let's do this, let's do that. I guess she was trying to like relate to the things that I got going on in my life. You know, I had back dermals, so she asking me about back dermals. I got a master's degree, she want to talk about a master's degree. She tried to like come over, and I wasn't even like near my place then, but even if I was, it's just like, we not on that level. We really wasn't even on that level when, you know, you hung out at my pool. It just so happened that Mo didn't show up. I want to say this story like took place over a span of like 8 months. So throughout these 8 months, like, Curly is just looking for a way to keep a conversation with me going. But I'm just like, I'm not directly your friend. We just have a mutual friend, and the time for us to kind of build a friendship and get to know each other, like, there was nothing for me to know about you. Looking back, Curly is given Single White Female. If you don't know that movie, go catch up on your history. It's a classic. A little background on the movie Single White Female, if you haven't seen it. It starts with these 2 characters, Allison and Hetty. Hetty was interested to, I don't know, share the things that she had in common with Allison. That's where we at in the Single White Female movie. And I'm pretty much Allison. So if you ain't seen that movie, go watch it. But that's where we at right now. So I had just met Curly, and I'm just like, she's not my type of chick, but I don't mind hanging out with her unless Mo is there. And so fast forward to the next time we hang out, we are at this Afrobeat spot. Mo is there, her bestie Larry is there, Curly is there, but Curly is not necessarily like in the group. While we were just kind of like, you know, chilling at the bar, Curly is everywhere else. Now, Curly was making some diabolical fashion choices, and this is just something that I noticed. Every time we popped out, I was just kind of like low-key scratching my head on why she made this choice. Like I said, it's still the summertime. Curly got on this summer dress with combat boots. I'm not trying to roast nobody. It was almost like war boots. Like, it was. Let's get to the story. So here I go, minding my business, sipping my little drinky drink. This guy taps me on my shoulder. I turn around. He looked like every last ex that I had, and he just somewhere not from America. And this is, you know, I gotta work on this myself. But I turn around and I end up meeting this guy who ends up being my boyfriend. You know, at this point of the story, this is my first time meeting him. And let's name him Babatunde. He needs his own full story time that it's even worse than this story. and we just don't have the time to get into it. But Babatunde turned out to be just the worst stereotype of West African men, where I mean, like, they hide in skeletons, they hide in fiancés, they hide in kids, they hide in families. Just Babatunde, he need his own story time. But at the time, this is my first time like meeting him or whatever, and he has some guy friends with him, and so he brings us to his table. You know, like, he's like kind of like stuck on me, and I'm using this because like I really feel like I was preyed on. Like, Babatunde was like hunting, like there were other guys that tried to speak to me, you know, when I walked off, but he was kind of like being playful and like, no, like, she's mine, you know, and kind of like pulling me back. This is my first time even meeting him, but Tunde is, oh, he being funny. He's sinking his claws in. And so me and Babatunde, like, we talking or mingling, whatever the case may be. And after that, you know, it was just a full-blown relationship. Like, he was meeting my family, he was talking about he need his own story time. He need his own story time. We just gonna wrap this up and say that this relationship lasted for about 5 months. And during that time, it started off real cool. We took, you know, great pictures together. And, you know, that's what people would say very often. Like, oh, y'all look great together. Like, y'all compliment each other. Woo, woo, woo. You know, and from the surface, like, aesthetically, like, we were just like a very aesthetically pleasing, attractive couple. We took some real fly pictures together. We gonna fast forward and get to Babatunde's foolishness in a whole different video from this one, because I really have to like sit down and break down and psychoanalyze everything that I was able to learn from dating this man in only 5 months. But we just gonna fast forward and say it didn't work, and Tunde had a lot of skeletons in Chicago, skeletons back in his home country. Get that away from my life. I'm good. A few months after this, I done put Babatunde in the past and all of his shenanigans, and all of my furniture is finally settled in my condo, and I'm ready to open the door and host a good girls night like Larry had been talking about. Let's host a girls night. So I'm still at that space where I'm not necessarily close with Larry or Curly, but you know, if Mo was there, I'm cool with hanging out with all of them. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward to the taco night. It's still early. Nobody else has really arrived yet. And the first people to show up are Larry and Curly without Mo. Cool. And at this point, it's just me, my baby sister who I had helping me set up everything. My baby sis, she's like 20. And so I open the door, I see Larry first, and I'm like, you know, what's up, Larry? You know, she give me a little hug, I welcome her in, and Curly is right behind Larry. But instead of saying, hey, what's up, Curly busts right in the door, and she's like, you know, I cannot make this up. I cannot make this up. She's like, you know, that guy that you were dating, that guy that was on your Instagram, I matched with him on Hinge, and I just realized that was him. I'm like, do you want some tacos? I consider myself to be a pretty decent storyteller, and I know these stories be like lit, but I cannot make these stories up. I cannot make this up. She come right in the door, forgetting to say hello, forgetting to say hey, like eyes like this, like cracked out and everything. This is Curly. I matched with him on Hinge. I just didn't realize it was him. Curly ain't even walked 6 feet in the door. She ain't even walk. Oh God. Okay. I'm like, oh yeah, that's crazy. Like, do you want some tacos or anything? You know, I'm getting I'm still getting the cheese ready. You know, just trying to, you know, be hospitable, get them settled in and stuff. And like Larry she say something like, yeah, I'll take a margarita or something like that or whatever. But Curly, you know, turns back around. She's like, but we didn't do anything. Like, nothing happened between us or anything like that. Wait, I missed a part of the story. She tells me, like, she busts through the door and she's like, you know, that guy, she was like, his name is, she named some like very American name that's just not his name at all. And she was like, you know, that guy, his name is Johnny, right? I'm like, I don't I'm like, who is Johnny? I'm like, who is Johnny? And so Curly is still trying to, like, I don't know, I guess like revisit this conversation because she just seemed confused, and I was confused too. Like I'm confused on why you can't say hello when you walk into somebody's house. Looking back, that should have been a time where I just like politely just walked Miss Curly back out the door and told her goodbye and to get home safe, and offered if Larry wanted to join her. It was just that weird. But you know, I'm still in a stage where I still try to give weird things that happen around me the benefit of the doubt. She's like, his name is Johnny, right? So she named this real American name that's just nowhere near Babatunde's name. Now Tunde, like I said, Babatunde, he got a whole distinct West African name that Johnny just ain't a part of it at all. But she named his specific country, and I'm like, he the only dude, you know, from I'm like, he the only dude from that country in Chicago, basically. So she named his specific country, and I'm like, okay, you know, she obviously talking about my ex. I guess he's on an app, on a dating app, using this fake American name, looking for his next victim. What I was supposed to do with this information, I don't know. But apparently me just being like, yeah, that's weird, be careful, that wasn't enough for Miss Curly. So I feel like this is a point where I should throw in the fact that Curly is 33 years old. Like it's easy to forget how old Curly is just by the stuff that I'm explaining. But so we at the point where she busting through the door, excited to tell me that she matched with my ex on Hinge. But what I also noticed at this point is she asked me if we were still dating. So she didn't even know if we was together or not. It's just all over the place. And so I'm, you know, just still hosting and, you know, trying to make sure the margaritas is set up and, you know, take little videos and TikToks and pictures of everything that I had set up. And Curly is kind of like in the background trying to like make this conversation the center of attention. But I'm like, what are we supposed to be gaining from this conversation? She starts like giving details that they were talking for a little bit. She didn't realize who it was at first, and then when she finally did, she just blocked him because it was weird. And now she finally just put it all together as soon as she stepped in the door that this was my ex. So I just don't understand. I'm like, we broke up in February. It's June, and you just now realizing magically only because you walked in through the door that, what? Do you want a taco? I'm like, y'all probably watching this story at this point and like, why you ain't kicked that hoe out? I don't know. I was confused. I was too nice and I was confused. Just lost. And at this point, my god sister and Mo walk in at the same time, or around the same time. So, you know, the party is starting to fill up slightly a little bit more. So Mo and my god sister know each other because, you know, Mo been to a handful of my birthdays. So they walk in, you know, it's all cool. Everybody, you know, getting situated. I even put on a movie, like I started a movie for the ladies and stuff like that. We are enjoying a movie. Curly interrupt the movie to go back to this conversation about I can't make this stuff up, y'all. I guess I don't know if the movie wasn't interesting. She wasn't getting the attention that she wanted. She wanted to go back to this conversation about her conversation with Babatunde. At this point, she just rambling about, basically, I guess, trying to show how much she knows about him. At that point, I was just like, okay, Curly, you got the floor. I'm like, so, you know, what made you realize that this was so strange and so weird? And Curly told me that she followed Babatunde on Instagram and realized that the only person they were following that they had in common was me. I was like, oh, so that's when you realized that it was my ex. And so before I can even get that sentence out, she was like, but I just blocked them. It was just weird. It was just weird. It was weird. I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. At this point, she, you know, can't even say his real name. Johnny is not his real name, and my god sister knows this. So we busting up laughing, and they like, well, what is his real name? And so I said his real name, like, you know, full accent, like his full West African tribal name. It wasn't nothing nowhere near this American name Johnny that he had made up. And I kind of put two and two together. I'm like, he probably came up with the name Johnny because it's like a part of his middle name. Like, let's say like a part of his name had the word John in it. He just made up this name Johnny out of that. So you know, it was just funny. We just laughing like, why is he on an app with an, I'm like, this dude is like really lame. Like, why is he on an app, you know, with this fake name? And so we even like make a joke and laugh about it. Like, well, Hinge is for the unhinged, like talking about the app. I'm like, this is why I don't play on dating apps. And I was telling them, I'm like, I don't play on dating apps. Like, if y'all see my pictures on a dating app, that's a catfish. Somebody is using my pictures, and that's happened to me before. I'm like, it's crazy. I'm like, I don't know what this dude got going on. So we just like, Hinge is for the unhinged. As all of this is happening, we just kind of like laughing. I'm moving around, I'm hosting, still getting the food together. I don't know, like getting another batch of taco shells out the refrigerator or something. Why Larry at this point like come over to me by the refrigerator? She comes over and she's like, what's the specific reason you and him broke up? Talking to me about Babatunde. Now, y'all probably watching this story like, Kelsey, why did you not put these messy, weird hoes out of your house? I don't know, y'all. I was just too nice and too confused at the time. I don't know. This would have been a very good time for me to just say, okay, that's enough. Y'all gotta go. But I'm still keeping the energy positive. I'm still getting the food ready, still trying to host and just have like a good night because the rest of the girlies are on the way. Mo is somewhere else, like kind of like in her own world as all this weirdness is going on. But it's pretty much like the basis of the story is Larry trying to like be in my business, and then Curly trying to tell me about some Hinge matchup with my ex. I don't know, y'all. But as a response to Larry, what should have been me saying, Larry, I don't know you like that, and we just not even gonna get into that. That's weird. Like, I don't even understand how you thought that was like appropriate or sensible to ask me. You don't know if I was abused. You don't know if I've had to file a restraining order. You don't know if something traumatic happened. You don't know if this man had me in a clinic or something. Just for you to say what's the specific reason, verbatim, like I cannot make this up. She said, what is the specific reason you guys broke up? And like stared at me. Almost like some type of question that you would type to ask about a celebrity on AI or something. Like she was like, what's the specific reason? She stared at me for a second. And I'm just like, and so to respond to Larry, I was just like, it just got weird and I don't like weird stuff. Which was the truth. So that was that. Larry walked back over to, I don't know what Larry did after that. And so the conversation died down again and we just go back to watching a movie. And then Curly bust out and she's like, yeah, that was weird, but you know, I just got a couple free meals from him though. Basically every single time Curly tried to like revive this conversation, it died down and she looked for something else to say to try to bring it back up. At this point in the story, y'all probably like how she was able to go out with him multiple times to get these free meals and still didn't know it was him. Exactly. It didn't add up. You know, at the time I ain't even entertained, you know, that comment, you know, about her free meals or whatever that she was so excited about at the age of 33. I didn't entertain it. But to this day, I don't even think that that was a factual part of the story, y'all. I feel like she threw that part in there because the conversation kept dying down every time she tried to bring it back up. And so there was no new tea, there was no information, there was nothing for us to gain from this conversation or to pretty much get a reaction out of me. You throwing in this fabricated detail because you're trying to get my attention and get some reaction out of me. But you being excited about free food at the age of 33 from somebody's ex is not a flex. I'm like, I don't know if she like excited like men don't feed her. I don't know what that was supposed to be. I'm not exactly sure what type of like, what I was supposed to like respond to and say to that. I was just like, I just laughed and I'm like, oh my God, you know, ew. Something like that I said, I can't even remember. I think she wanted me to like ask more questions about the free meals, but that's not my personality. She said it kind of just blew out the window. Everybody went back to watching the movie. And this time I think we was just talking about the movie. I can't even remember, what's the movie where the man was invisible. He had like all this technology to be invisible and pretty much harass his wife. Invisible Man, yes. So we had on Invisible Man and we talking about how crazy the plot was, and Curly come back into the conversation. She's like, yeah, these men just crazy, these men just crazy, and you know, but I don't stress about it, you know. I just got a couple free meals, you know, and I just got a couple free meals, and this dude on Hinge, you know, he was crazy, and I just got a couple free meals from, he was just so weird, and I just got a couple free meals. She kept trying to throw free meals in the conversation, whereby at first it was, you know, just Hinge, and nobody took that seriously. We just like Hinge is for the unhinged. Now she bringing free meals into the conversation. So she's like, yeah, I just got a couple free meals, and it gave very much like very like crackheadish. Like Curly is literally like itching for somebody to like entertain, pretty much for me to entertain what she's talking about. But I'm like, I don't have nothing for you. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with, what am I supposed to do with that information, y'all? What was I supposed to do with it? Can somebody tell me in the comments what exactly? I'm lost on where she wanted that to go, but it's very clear that she wasn't getting the attention or reaction that she was looking for. Because when everybody went back to watching the movie or enjoying the tacos, Curly had to find a way to bring this back into the conversation. At this point, the rest of the ladies are starting to come in. My cousin and more of my friends start to come in, and they only there for like a few seconds, and Mo, Larry, and Curly all leave together. They just leave. It was weird, but everything about this was weird. So my cousin, she's just hilarious. She was like, damn, I hope we ain't scared them away. I'm like, I don't know what that was about. Come on in, ladies. So for the rest of the night, it ended up being a really cute and fun taco night. I posted my little TikTok and everything. It was just a vibe. You know, we start playing card games. The rest of the ladies got there. That was my first time like just hosting like a cute, fun, girly night. And once Mo, Larry, and Curly all left together, the vibes was there and the vibes was right. We playing card games, we getting back to the movies. So it was still a good night. So the next day, I'm texting, you know, my sisters. My god sister texting me, my baby sister texting me. You know, we just talking about like how fun the night was and how we just got to do more in that. And this is two separate conversations, but we get on the subject of Curly's weirdness, like and it was the funniest part of the conversation. Like, what was wrong with Curly? What did Curly have going on? What was too Curly? And I just had to apologize. I'm like, look, I am sorry, y'all. Like, I can't, that's not even my friend. We share a mutual friend, and I was just trying to be warm and welcoming. I said something, I cracked a joke, like, I was like, here I go welcoming bitches with tacos and margaritas and good vibes, and this is the thanks I get. So we just crack it up. But on a serious note, both of my sisters were just like, that was weird. That was weird. She was trying to compete. She was trying to one-up you, and it was just a hot mess. It was an epic fail. And I'm gonna put them screenshots because, you know, that was just like the basis of the conversation. So at this point, my sisters are both acknowledging, like, Curly was the oldest person in the room that day, but also the weirdest. Like, that was such a hot mess that Curly low-key needs to get checked. And I think my baby sister said something like, let it go, she just a weirdo. And my god sister was even laughing at the fact that, like, I had pronounced Babatune's name with the correctly, because I was just trying to like clear up the story. I'm like, who is Johnny? Where did he get this name Johnny from? Like, why is he going by the name Johnny? I'm just laughing it off, and I, you know, properly pronounced like his full West African name that's on his passport. My god sister pointed out, like, there was a point where I didn't notice Curly face, but she was low-key kind of like blue or salty that she didn't know his real name. And then my baby sister pointed out that Larry was trying to be in my business. I think it was Larry that made a comment like, Kelsey, your life is so private. You know, so baby sister's pointing out, she was like, Kelsey, they was trying to get in your business. And so I'm just apologizing to them. Like, I'm like, those were Mo's friends. At this point, it ain't even a red flag no more. Mo's friends are weird. I tried. They weird. That little, you know, text with my sisters was just a confirmation. Like, I can't do it. Like, I can't get jiggy with Mo's friends. I tried my best. I tried to be warm. I tried to be friendly, but I'm not everybody's friend. I'm learning this lesson. I considered sending a text to Curly and addressing in a mature, direct way about the weirdness that took place, you know, the day before when she was at my place. But it just didn't feel worth it. Like, at the end of the day, Babatunde is a corpse. Like, he's, you know, done, and you're done. You're weird, and you know, I wasn't that close to Curly, so it just didn't feel worth like addressing. I'm just like, Curly just a weirdo, and I had already sensed that she was a weirdo. I can't get jiggy with Miss Curly. At this point of the story, looking back, like I said, I'm gonna reference this movie Single White Female again. So there's a point in Single White Female where little by little Hetty is trying to do everything that she's inspired by seeing Allison do, but she's realizing that it's not going the way that she thought it would in her head. Hetty tries to get her hair like Allison. She cuts her hair exactly like Allison. She starts dressing like Allison. There was a point in the story where Allison, you know, had a bad breakup with her fiance. She breaks up with her fiance. Hetty tries to sleep with Allison's fiance, and that just didn't go the way that she planned it to in her head. So in real life, Curly is Hetty. Just looking back, like, the dermals didn't work. The master's degree, I don't know what's up with that, but I guess that was taking too long. My piercings to my degrees to my man that she thought was my man. At that point, I was just like, it's a hell no for me with Miss Curly. Like, it's I can't do it. And I, you know, tried to take the time to just kind of process it. Like, is there a way for me to still, you know, pop out and hang out with Mo without being around her friends? I don't know. And I didn't have a conversation with Mo because I never had a deep conversation with Mo. The only like kind of like in-depth conversation that me and Mo had was her asking me to look at this guy's Instagram page that she was messing around with and see if it was a girl on there. And looking back, I'm just like, why I need to do this? Like, why are you doing this? We too old for this. And so I did Mo the little favor and check, you know, the guy's page, and you know, there was a chick. And then she comes back to tell me like, oh, you know, he's been off and on with her. I don't know why, you know, he needed to block me. I'm like, first of all, why you got me watching this person page when you already know? I'm like, so you telling me, first of all, I get an icky feeling about the whole lurking thing. It's very unserious. We too old for it. And on top of that, this is not your man. And from what you just revealed to me, he already told you that he got another woman in his life. What are you gaining from looking at this man's page, and why I need to be a part of the buffoonery? It's a little favor for her. Confirm that guy she was messing around with had a girl. That's the only deep conversation I had with Mo. I don't know. So it didn't even cross my mind to talk to Mo. My mindset was to just silently cut Curly off because, you know, there was no like friendship there, you know, or bond there to begin with. So I was just gonna put, you know, Miss Curly behind me. But I'll check my phone and I get a notification realizing that I'm in a group chat with Mo, Larry, and Curly, and one other unidentified number, just another one of Mo's friends that I never met before. They talking about meeting up at the next event, and they planning how to go together, and I'm in the group and Curly is in the group. Something about that triggered me and let me know, like, it just clicking, like, Curly still think that she's still finna be around me. It clicked to me like I did not do a good job at establishing my boundaries. I did not stand on my boundaries. I did not, I don't know, something about that triggered me. I might not even have the screenshots, but I'm watching, and, you know, Curly is in the chat, you know, asking about, you know, the details of the event. At that point, I was just like, oh, hell no. Like, I'm trying to, like, take an approach where it's just like, you know, that's just not my type of crowd. Let me keep moving and just keep, you know, going on about life. You know, these just aren't my ladies. I'm cutesy, I'm demure, I don't address drama. Someone was like, Kelsey, check this bitch, check this hoe. What are you doing? Like, check this bitch. What are you doing? And like, it was like a little voice in my head like just said it, and I'm just like, I don't know. Basically, I just addressed Curly right there in the group chat. It didn't seem like anything that needed to be addressed to her privately or directly, because that same respect was never given to me. You busted right up in my home being weird, just blasting the display of behavior for everybody to see. So all I'm doing in this conversation is revisiting that same conversation that you addressed publicly, and, you know, addressing you publicly. I ain't got the screenshots with me right now. I'll probably, you know, go dig them up and find them later. But the basis of what I said is, I don't mind hanging out with you ladies, but we gotta address the weird behavior that was displayed in my home the other day by you, Miss Curly. It was just weird. It was disrespectful. Grown women don't act like that. You know, there was a better way to address that if you really felt like that was like tea or important information to tell me. And also considered the fact, I'm like, what if I was still dating this person? That means you busting up in there just with no type of like sensitivity or tact, which makes it so clear like that was very intentional disrespect. And I was just like, it was weird. It was a mess. We not gonna be having that. Basically, that was the gist of the message that I said. It took a minute for everybody in that group chat to gather their thoughts. You know how like you hear a group chat continue to like bing, 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 you know, because everybody active. As soon as I dropped that little paragraph in there, I ain't hear no more bings. Where the bings at? Pretty much the message was just saying like, do better if you think we finna be around in the same spaces. Like, are we clear on that? And Miss Curly responds back. Pretty much, but Curly, you know, she take a minute, but she responds back and she says, I do apologize, you know, if I rubbed you the wrong way. I really do apologize. I'm so sorry. You know, I didn't mean anything by it. I'm not that kind of person. And so then she follows up with this message telling me to reach out to her directly. Why would I do that? I gotta reach out to her directly. The same person, Curly got my phone number, my Instagram, and she know how to use it any other time she wanna send me something random and irrelevant. But when it came to this, you know, very weird, messy, I guess what she thought was tea at the time, you know, all of a sudden she forgot how her phone worked, but I need to reach out to her. So I was just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna post all these screenshots, but pretty much I replied them and just said like, it ain't my job to reach out to you privately. Like, this is how you like to communicate. This is the delivery that you chose. And I ain't even gonna like read these messages directly. Y'all could pause the screen and read the buffoonery if you want to, but the next set of these messages is Curly pretty much trying to gaslight me. In so many ways she trying to gaslight me. She's trying to go back to centering the conversation around this man and how she magically just realized that this man was my ex. Going back to the conversation saying that, oh, she just had a magical realization. Pretty much trying to like portray herself as a girl's girl and that her intentions were to look out for me by telling me this information and coming to me as a woman. You couldn't even let other people talk in the room. You was acting a complete jealous buffoon the whole time you were in my home. You know exactly what you're doing. I didn't even read the whole paragraph of what she said at the time, but I'm just like, look, let's drive this back to the fact that like, you 33 years of age, you too old for this. You knew what you was doing, and if you didn't know what you was doing, you should know better. But Miss Curly definitely knew what she was doing. It just didn't go the way that she planned it out in her head. It was a whole mess, and so she trying to break down her thought process, but it was no thought process because there was no thoughts. There was no sense in this. But y'all go ahead and read, you know, these messages where Curly is trying to plead her case and basically say that she's a girl's girl and she was just looking out for me. And her way of just repeating about free meals, that was just, you know, her sharing the details about the important information where she was trying to look out for me and have my back. I feel gaslit even just looking at the buffoonery and trying to read them text messages out loud. It was nonsense. I was just like, don't do it no more. That was a mess. I think like even Larry chimed in and was like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were uncomfortable, Kels, or something like that she said. I'm like, I was like, I ain't say nothing about being uncomfortable. I just said that Curly was weird and had nothing else to talk about. To not notice that that was the only thing that Curly was talking about, you would have to be deaf. Mo chimed in and said like she didn't notice that that's the only thing that Curly had to talk about. And Larry is kind of like, you know, she said that one little message. Like pretty much everybody in this group chat is playing slow. At the time, my mindset is just like, I don't care if y'all playing slow or if y'all slow for real, but we're not gonna be doing that to each other as women. I cleared that up, you know, after I said what I said and just, you know, pretty much just told Curly like, that was a hot mess, you're weird, do better. In the group chat, you know, the group chat kind of just died, where at first it was just so active and everybody getting ready to go out and want me to still hang out with them and pop out with them. All of a sudden they ain't saying nothing else in the group chat no more. I don't get it. Like all I did was bring up what Curly was so excited to talk about in the first place. Why you not excited no more? What could have been a sensible conversation was pretty much thrown out the window as soon as Curly stepped in the door with her weirdness. Let's say she did, you know, match up with my ex on this app, and she initially didn't realize that it was him, you know, because he got a different name. She never knew his real name or how to pronounce his real name, and she wasn't over there when we were all introducing ourselves to each other at the club that day. That actually makes sense. What doesn't make sense is why you thought that that was the way to bust into somebody's party. Basically, you bust in my home excited to tell me that I was getting cheated on with you, which was the expectation in your head because you thought that we were still together. And this was your way of doing it with good intent. Curly is 33. I gotta keep throwing that in there because it's easy to forget her age. You would think that I'm talking about something that happened back in high school, but I gotta bring that up because the whole point of me looking forward and being interested in hanging out with most people is because they are, you know, a little bit older. They slightly older. They in their 30s. I'm thinking I could like learn from these women, grow, and if anything, it low-key set me back. Like this felt very much high school, and y'all low-key brought out a little bit of high school Kelsey. Girl. And during the whole time that I'm addressing Curly in this group chat, Mo texted me on the side. Mo actually called me and she had texted me like, dang, like, you know what happened? I was, you know, I'm lost, girl. You know, because Mo just always lost. She never know what's going on. You know, she just kind of like cracking up at the situation, like, what happened? And I'm just like, pretty much just telling Mo, I'm like, I can't with Miss Curly because she's still not being for real. And Mo is kind of pretty much co-signing me, and she's like, yeah, you know, she got to work on that, because I'm just like, she very male-centered. And I even said that. I was like, I think she just real nigga-centered. And I think I even said that in the group chat. I was just like, why is that the only thing that goes up, you know, like in her mind? And Mo was kind of like laughing at what I'm saying. She's like, yeah, you know, she got to do better with that. So while, you know, Mo is on the phone cracking up, she says that Curly is calling her. So, you know, there's a conversation happening in the group chat, and at a certain point, Curly ain't had nothing else to say in the group chat. So now she's calling Mo on the other line, while Mo's first reaction was to call me. Mo was like, oh, hold up, this is Curly, she calling me. I get off the phone and I let them talk on the phone or whatever the case may be. And Mo sends me a text and she's like, Curly really says that she's just so sorry and she's just gonna call you soon. Like, okay, whatever, you know, with an apology comes accountability. And in the group chat, she's pretty much saying, well, I'm sorry you perceived my communication that way, and I'm sorry, you know, if you might have felt rubbed the wrong way. And all of it, none of that was an apology, none of that had any accountability, and Curly was just not being for real. But I'm like, if there's any time for you to just be all the way for real, it would be right now. And Curly wasn't capable of doing that. At this point, Mo was just so lost. Like, I don't know what happened. And, you know, Curly says she's very sorry. She's gonna call you. She's gonna call you. I leave my phone open, you know, or whatever. Because I'm like, okay, I don't mind Curly reaching out to me. You know, she the one who, you know, felt like she had some tea or something to talk about. I got everything that I needed to get off my chest. So I'm just like, you know, I didn't block her or anything like that. I'm like, okay, you know, my phone is open. She got my phone number. Any other time she excited to text me or send me some random TikTok or something like that because she want to have a conversation, you know, she could do the same thing and pick up the phone and call me. Like, because she, I don't know, gave some type of excuse or something like, oh, she's taking her braids down, but she said she's gonna call you. But while she was just on a phone call with Mo, and I'm like, I said something like her speaker button don't work, like, I don't know, but I left my phone open. I'm like, you know my number, you know how to reach out to me any other time. So do y'all think Curly called me? No. Miss Curly that love to talk so much, you know, but that whole weekend my phone was open. I'm like, we could talk like women. You could reach out to me like a woman. I'm all for that. This whole situation would have went a different way if you would have did that in the first place. But like, you want to talk, let's talk. So yeah, I ain't hear from Miss Curly that whole weekend, and then even the group chat died down too. Like, ain't nobody else say nothing else in that group chat after that. But I guess Mo's idea I don't know, she just started like a brand new group chat. I don't know, but she started a new group chat and with the same people in it. I don't know what the point of that was, to talk about the same exact event that everybody was planning to go to in the first place. So at this point she says, like, don't say anything in here, just heart the message if you're gonna come to the event on whatever day it was. And so I had no interest or no concern or care in hanging out with these young ladies again. But just out of like sheer pettiness and sarcasm in a way, I was just like, let me go ahead and heart this message and pop up. You know, maybe this could be a good opportunity for us to look each other in the eye and be for real. And so I even pop up. Nobody brings up the conversation in the group chat the whole time we at the club. So it was a decent day. I'm enjoying myself. Mo is, you know, just being her ditzy party self. Larry is kind of just off to the side. We all just, you know, just making small talk. Curly, she didn't show up the whole time we was there, so it was just me, Mo, and Larry. I end up dropping Larry off back to her apartment because Larry don't have a car. And so I, you know, point out the elephant in the room, and I'm like, I said something, I bring up the group chat or whatever, and I'm like, look, I know that was weird, I know that was awkward, but you know, I can't normalize weird stuff. And I think, you know, I pretended too much to try to. It wasn't working. Like, I don't mind having good vibes. I'm like, I know y'all said y'all wanted to hang out with me more and have a girls' night at my place, and that would have been a good opportunity to get to know y'all, and that's all I had to see that night. Larry is kind of like stuttering over her words. It wasn't even like a deep conversation, but she was just like, yeah, I didn't realize, you know, all of that was going on. You know, I was just I was just, you know, too wrapped up in the vibes. Like I just, you know, the tacos was just good. I'm like, what's going on, Larry? Like, I'm paraphrasing this conversation, by the way, but like Larry was doing a lot of fumbling and stumbling over her words and pretty much trying to plead her case that she wasn't aware that Curly was being weird because she just wasn't entertaining the conversation. But I'm like, we talking about the same conversation that you felt the need to follow me over to the refrigerator and ask me about. You specifically asked me about what was the specific reason me and Babatunde broke up. So you was definitely engaged in this conversation, and you were there to witness the weirdness, and you were a part of the weirdness. But it didn't even feel worth mentioning or like checking or correcting Larry at the time, because she was just doing so much stuttering and like fumbling and finagling over her words. And I'm just like, I was low-key kind of like laughing in my head, because I'm like, I came there with a purpose of just being petty and just looking these immature women in their eye like, find y'all somebody else to play with, because it's not gonna be me. Larry is 31. I'm saying everybody age because everybody in this situation is older than me. It's like, why are y'all acting like that? Like, why not just be for real? And then, you know, Larry even pleaded her case that she's like, you know, I don't know Curly that well. You know, I just kind of met her over this past year. You know, we not that close. You know, I just know her. She's kind of like the mutual friend that I shared through Mo, because, you know, Mo is Larry's best friend. And so I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. You know, Curly just got to do better. And like Larry says something like, yeah, I guess she does kind of talk about men a lot, you know, like that's, you know, she's probably just, you know, like unhealed from, you know, her, whatever she's been through or whatever the case may be. You know, she does talk about men a lot. Oh, and I'm like, yeah, you know, she got to do better with that. That was crazy. That was a hot mess. It was just awkward. It was awkward. And it didn't have to be awkward. I'm like, this is the same conversation that y'all were just so excited to talk about when it was in my home. Now I'm like addressing and revisiting this same conversation, and you got Curly who don't even want to show up to the club no more. You got Larry fumbling and stumbling over her words. You got Mo who head is just in the clouds and don't want to bring it up at all. And so I dropped Larry off or whatever, and I'm just like, you know, but today was fun. Be safe. Have a good night. And that was the end of Miss Larry. So Curly left that group chat. She didn't show up to that event. She left that group chat. That was the end of that. But like I said, these aren't women that I was like even necessarily close with. So throughout the summer, I didn't hear from Miss Mo, Larry, or Curly too much after that. I think Mo was the only one like sending me reels or TikToks more than usual at this point. It was weird. It's just something that I noticed, you know, funny Instagram videos or whatever. But for the rest of the summer, I didn't even hang out with them, and it was nothing that I even thought about because there was just so much going on that summer. I went out of town, you know, just enjoying my summer. But what I do remember is Larry, like I said, I never Larry was kind of like a plus one. So anytime that I had a birthday celebration, Mo would show up and she would show up with Larry, and I was cool with that. But a few months after all of this, Larry's birthday was coming up because she mentioned it when we were at the club, you know, that day that Curly didn't show up. So at this point, you know, a few months passed by, and Larry, you know, she's still like loving my pictures on Instagram and stuff like that, you know, because she just loved my Instagram. But Larry has a birthday, and in her story, Mo, Larry, and Curly are, you know, celebrating Larry's birthday with her. Now, mind you, this the same Larry that was always welcome to my birthday celebrations. The same Larry who said that, you know, she was not that close with Miss Curly. You know, I just blocked all their ass. I just blocked them. I just blocked everybody that's in this story. At that point, I was just like, why are they still on your page? Why? And it's not that Mo even did anything to me directly. It's just like that, something about that just confirmed. I'm like, they're a package deal. They are a package deal. Like, you can't just cut one of them off without cutting all of them off. For so many reasons, collectively, all of them are weird. Larry had been in my home. Larry had been to my birthday celebrations. I never been to Larry's home. I never been to Larry's birthday celebrations. Larry is not my friend. Curly is a weirdo for so many other reasons that I ain't even got the energy to explain. Curly is not my friend. Mo is a airhead, and her friends are weird. And she kind of talks about her friends behind her back, which is low-key a red flag. But she don't have like the sense to recognize their weirdness and hold them accountable in the midst of their weirdness. Mo is weird. Mo, Larry, and Curly are weird. 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. These hoes are weird. Block them all. So like my brain just like had an epiphany, right? And I was just like, y'all blocked. So I'm thinking that was just the end of that. Like, all of them are blocked. I was like, stop letting them watch your stories. They might still be on your YouTube. Who cares? Get me monetized, period. We almost there. But get them off your platforms. These are not your friends. Like, at that point, it was just so obvious. I'm like, they obviously not comfortable around me, and I'm not comfortable around them. I don't trust them. I just blocked all of them. Now, I think like a month after this, I think the only thing that I forgot to like block everybody on was TikTok. Mo sends me a message. Now, I did low-key feel a little bad about, you know, like having to cut Mo off, but I'm like, Mo, Larry, and Curly are a package deal, and collectively they are weird. And all jokes aside, it just feels pointless to hang around people that I can't trust, and low-key kind of dangerous. Every time I try to pop out with Mo and just enjoy the vibes, there's a friend in her circle that's doing something strange towards me, when all I'm doing is being friendly, smiling, being cutesy, and, you know, welcoming women to the vibes. So Mo reaches out to me on TikTok, and I don't have these screenshots because I was just like, I think I just kind of deleted the thread and blocked her again, because it was just like, bruh. But the gist of the conversation was Mo saying, hey, you know, I haven't heard from you in a while. Is everything okay? And I was just like, hey Mo, I'm good. I just blocked y'all on purpose because y'all weird and I don't trust y'all. And that's just where I'm at with it. Like, normally, you know, I got more energy to type out a paragraph and explain exactly what I mean by this, but I'm just getting off work and I don't got it in me. And on top of that, I feel like y'all being older than me, I shouldn't even have to explain what I mean by this. I can't do it with y'all. And so Mo sends back a message, and she was just like, you know, I'd like to know how I'm weird, you know. I really hate that you feel that way. You know, I really want to know, like, how am I weird? And so I broke it down to her, and I was just like, first of all, as a group, y'all are not a safe space for women. It makes no sense for me to hang out with y'all and drink around people that I can't trust. And at this point, I'm just kind of tired. Like, blocking all of them was just like the simplest solution moving forward. They not comfortable around me, I'm not comfortable around them. But Mo is asking me to explain what I mean by this, and she's asking nicely. And while I don't have the energy to break it down, like I said, I'm a writer for a living. I know how to put a good piece of writing together, explaining all the points, and I know how to break down a situation very articulately and sensibly explain my point. So I feel like this is what Mo is asking me to do. So I pull out my little glasses and I get to reading Mo and her entire friend group for filth. You know, I had to just kind of read and break it down for her. She got a good little paragraph of me, and I wasn't even trying to be mean. I was just like, hey, point A, point B, point C. This is why you all are weird. Thank you for listening. Child, let me take these glasses off. Basically, like in that text, I was just like, there's your explanation. I even broke down, like, basically, why would I continue to invite somebody into my spaces that doesn't invite me into theirs? Specifically talking about Larry. And I took accountability for the fact that I didn't do a good job at standing on my boundaries and addressing this at the time that it happened. But either way, it wasn't gonna change the fact that it was. After that very articulate explanation that I give to Miss Mo, Mo responds trying to like explain Larry's mindset on why I wasn't welcome to her birthday. She pretty much said, well, we've all three gotten to know each other and be closer to each other than we are to you, but I wish, you know, we would have had this conversation a little bit sooner, because I definitely could have stepped in. I just blocked her again. Like, it ain't nothing else to say. You got a paragraph out of me that I ain't even feel like typing. And the only thing you could say, basically, is we not close, which is true. I'm not close with y'all. Y'all not close with me. I don't mess with y'all, and y'all don't mess with me. Bye. Basically, from that conversation, you know, it was just very clear. I'm like, Mo is like a lost cause. I just don't blend in with them in any form of the term. I just don't blend in with them. I can't get jiggy with them. I can't get down with Mo's friends, and Mo just kind of just don't have the sense to understand what I'm talking about. And you know, it might sound like I'm being mean, but I'm like, it's important to remember that all the women in this story are like just too old for the shenanigans. At this point, that was the end of Mo, Larry, and Curly. And from this whole situation, I pretty much learned a lesson. Like, it's okay to be friendly, but you just cannot be everybody's friend. Everybody don't belong in your home. Everybody don't belong in your friendship spaces. They just don't belong in any type of space that has access to you. So, you know, that was a lesson for me. I was kind of like disappointed in myself for even entertaining the buffoonery. Like, why I have to do that? Like, you know, I hate that. The whole point of me, you know, trying to look forward to hanging out with these ladies at their age was because I'm looking forward to, you know, just building connections and friendships with, you know, people my age and up, and learning from something from those friendships. I ain't learned nothing. I didn't learn nothing in a positive way. You feel what I'm saying? But, you know, if anything, it kind of took me back. Like, it gave very much high school. And to this day, I don't know how Curly mapped out that situation to go in her head, but in any scenario, you busting in somebody's house and magically realizing that you was dating their ex multiple times, but only magically realized that it was them after liking so many of that person's Instagram stories with their ex in it. You magically realized that it was them, that it was their ex. Let's say that I was still dating this man and that I was an insecure chick. Like, let's say that I was pretty much the insecure bird that she was hoping that I would be. Let's say that it did play out that way. The only reaction that I would have for Curly is these hands. And I'm sure that wasn't a goal. That could not have been a goal. So I don't know what type of friendship that was supposed to be, but it's just not one that I need or desire in my friendship spaces. And all jokes aside, like, Curly's stupidity was just so bold that it was like dangerous on a different level. Like I said, that Single White Female movie, go ahead and watch that movie and see how that played out. I just had to cut Curly short before that movie got any further. So while I was able to laugh at the foolery in this situation, because it really was that ridiculous, all just aside, when you find yourself in an entire friend group that you can't trust, that's a very dangerous situation. And I hate to jump to like an extreme example, but one thing that like goes back to my mind is the whole still unsolved situation with the young lady Shanquella Robinson. Beautiful, cute girl, clearly very friendly and down to just pop out and have a good time with a group of friends. And that story ended in not a single person in that friend group protecting her or telling the truth about what happened to her. Don't let these type of situations turn you into a mean girl or a mean person or a paranoid person. Just use it as a lesson of discernment. You might want to be warm, bubbly, and friendly and charismatic, and you can still be that. but you cannot be everybody's friend. One of the most important things you can do in this life is surround yourself with genuine love, genuine friendships, genuine relationships. Obviously, your circle should be full of people you don't have to question or scratch your head or be like, what is going on? Why is that happening? This is just one of my many lessons, and hopefully y'all learned something from it too. Even if you didn't learn anything from this story, I hope it entertains you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you subscribe and enjoy this channel. We traveling, we learning, we living. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in my next video.